What's good, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Dugouts for your latest transfer news video. And Chelsea are moving so fast right now. That player exit revolving door is moving mad, and we are pushing through players, shipping them out on next day delivery at the moment. It is crazy, but we know that this needed to be done. We knew that there were a lot of players on our books that we needed to shift on, and the club are doing the business and they are getting these players out the door, which is great to see. There's still quite a lot more to be done, a lot more players to still be shifted on. The way that we're moving, I expect this all to be sorted before the start of the season. Now, we have had some updates on a few more players that have made moves from the club, starting off with Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. So this is the latest on his situation. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall to Everton. Here we go. A permanent deal agreed with the Chelsea and player side. Understand the fee is worth £25 million, fixed plus add-ons up to 28 to 29 total package. KDH, Ugochukwu and Chukwuemeka are all leaving Chelsea on a permanent deal. Now, look, this one came out of nowhere. I think we all knew that Dewsbury-Hall was going to be sold this summer. I think there were a few in the fan base that wanted him to stay. He was a good backup option. What he did last season, it wasn't terrible. It's not setting the world alight, but when he came on the pitch, he did produce, some quality. He did add with the goal contributions. It was a little bit underrated season from him because what he was asked and what he was brought in to do, he'd done the job. Now, personally, as a player, he didn't get a lot of minutes, and for his career, it's probably not the best to just be sat on the bench. You'd rather go to a team like Everton, which is going to get you more guaranteed minutes. You'll be a starter each week, and he's still going to be playing in the Premier League. So for him, this makes total sense. For the club's perspective, we're going to recuperate a lot of the money that we spent. I think we spent around £30 million on him, looking like we're going to get between 28 and 29 back for this transfer. So all in all, Everton are getting a decent midfielder for a really cheap price considering what other midfielders are going for. We're recuperating some of that money. Dewsbury-Hall's going out. He's going to get more game time. He's going to get more exposure, and he's going to be able to play more football, which is beneficial for him. And for us, we've not got a player on the bench because, look, let's be real. We've brought in a lot of more midfielders. We've got Santos that's come back, albeit they play slightly different positions. But the midfield area is stacked with the amount of players that we do have. So there wasn't really much place in the squad for Dewsbury-Hall. So for that, this is the best move for the club and the player. It has come out of nowhere. I mean, there wasn't really anything discussed about Dewsbury-Hall. Just knew that he was on the list of players to be sold, but that was about it. And then suddenly, 1 minute Everton are interested and preparing, and the next minute a deal's been agreed and the fee's been accepted. So it's quick movement. As I said, we're working on next day delivery. We're getting players to pack their bags and we're shipping them out overnight, which for the club's perspective, it's good. They're trimming down that squad before the start of the season. So we're not going into the potential, Bayer Leverkusen game and AC Milan game with a bloated squad. We're hopefully going to cut down even more players before we get to that point. But I think it's all round good business. And I just want to take the time to say thank you to Dewsbury-Hall. He was a crucial part to the Conference League as well. He played his part in the Club World Cup. And I want to say, thank you for the time and thank you for what he did contribute to the club. And I wish him all the best going forward. And we will see him, obviously, in an Everton shirt next season. But I'd love to get your thoughts on this transfer. Do you think we should have kept hold of Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, or do you think this is the best decision for the player and the club? Drop a comment below. Now, another player that looks to be set on his way is central defensive midfielder Lesley Ugochukwu. This is the latest on his situation. Exclusive, Burnley reach an agreement with Chelsea to sign Lesley Ugochukwu, the 21-year-old set to travel for a medical and complete permanent move. CFC to Burnley on a 5-year contract. The France youth international significantly bolsters Scott Parker's options. So how do I feel about this move? I think for the player, this is a great move. I think we have an abundance of midfielders, Enzo Fernandez, Romeo Lavia, and Moises Caicedo. And then we've got the additions of Andre Santos coming back from loan, and we've brought in Dario Sugo. So Lesley Ugochukwu is probably going to end up being 6th on this list for that position, which doesn't make sense for his career, for his player progression. He wants to develop as a footballer, and he's not going to get that without getting minutes on the pitch. So for him to make this move, to go to a team like Burnley, where he's probably going to get regular first-team football, where he's going to be a main starter, he's going to be able to develop his game. This makes perfect sense. In terms for the club, It's another player, another wage off the books. We will make some money, potentially could make some profit in this one. I think we bought him for around 25 million. We're selling him for upwards of 20 million. We'll have the loan fee from Southampton as well, because he spent a season on loan last year. So I think we will end up making profit on Ugochukwu. And he's a talented footballer. He's a big lad. I thought in his spell last season at Southampton, he played really well. He was a shining light for them in what was quite a disastrous season. So he can take the plaudits in that, and he can take that in moving into his move to Burnley. And I wish him all the best. I hope to see him, balling out week in, week out. And I think he will elevate his game by making this move and go by playing, that first team football and getting those regular minutes to make a name for himself. So wish him all the best, and I hope to see him again very, very soon. Now, if you thought we were done there, you would be wrong. We do have another potential exit on our hands, and it's another midfielder. This one's hits a little bit closer, as there was a lot of hype and a lot of promise around this player, and that's Carney Chukwuemeka. So this is the latest on Carney and his potential move. Understand, Borussia Dortmund have reactivated direct talks with Chelsea for Carney Chukwuemeka. Negotiations ongoing between the clubs to find a solution, as Carney wants to move. Chelsea insist on a permanent transfer. Now, this one hits a little different for me personally. There was a lot of hype, as I mentioned, regarding Carney, and a lot of promise of what he could bring to the squad. He was quite a sought-after young talent when we made the purchase of him. And he had spells where he looked really, really good, and he looked like he could offer something. And especially in pre-season under Poch, he looked like one of our best players, and it was quite exciting to see what he was going to do in the up-and-coming season. And then he got hit with a nasty injury, which basically ruled him out. And when he did recover and come back, he couldn't get anywhere near the team. And by that time, the likes of Cole Palmer was absolutely tearing it up. So he was never going to replace him. And it just didn't look like he fit anywhere within the squad. There were occasions where they tried him, but it just didn't seem to have the same fire, the same ability that we saw when he first sort of shot on to the scene in the first sort of couple of games that he did play for Chelsea. And it was quite sad. Now, he had quite a few loan deals, and Borussia Dortmund are a team that have been sniffing around him for a long time. He was on loan with them last season, and again, he played really, really well. Dortmund, I still think they're only going to want him on loan. That's what they keep doing. I think they're trying to run down his contract, to be honest, so they can get him on a free. But I know Chelsea, they wanted to do a permanent sale in the summer, but Dortmund didn't want it. So I do think they're going to push for the permanent sale of this. They want to raise funds to bring in another few attackers, Xavi Simons being one of them. So with the sale of Chukwuemeka and the likes of Dewsbury-Hall and Ugochukwu, it will facilitate that move for Xavi Simons. So they will be looking for a permanent deal. And yeah, it's a little bit sad because, again, there was so much promise behind him of what he could potentially offer. But again, it's not going to work out here. So for him to go, especially to a team like Dortmund, who generally breed quite a lot of talented footballers. We've seen the players that have moved from there in the past. They're sort of like a feeder club for a lot of the big clubs. So I think he would go there. And again, he's done well last season. He'll just go on there and continue his form and do well again if he was to get that move. But I'd love to know your thoughts on Carney. Did you feel like me, who had a lot of promise, had a lot of sort of vision of what they thought Carney could do for the team? Or do you just think he's just another young player that's sort of been wasted and now we potentially could make a little bit of profit on him? Just let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, there has been further updates on the potential buying of Alejandro Garnacho. We're currently in talks and advancing in talks on personal terms. Like I said, I feel like this one is just inevitable. We've also had the small update on Xavi Simons. Nothing spectacular. As much as I'd love to give you a here we go, it's not quite there yet. It's about 80% chance of being done, according to Fabrizio. And yeah, I do think that's about right. It's probably 100% chance. It did come out saying that Chelsea wanted to make some sales before trying to facilitate the move for Simons. We've done that now. We've sold Amana Broja, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, Lesley Ugochukwu. We've probably raised enough funds already for the Simons deal to facilitate that. So I don't see this being an issue. And I think in the next few days, we'll see an agreement between the clubs. And I do have a feeling that he will be in the Chelsea shirt before the Leverkusen game. Whether he would play that game, I'm not too sure. Probably be too early in terms of coming in and embedded into the squad. But I definitely think he'll be involved in the AC Milan game. And I do think he'll be signed this week. And I guarantee there'll be more player exits this week. It's going to be a busy week for transfers. Again, the season is, a couple weeks away. So we want to get all our business done as quick as possible to get us ready, get us raring to go for the start of that season. But for now, guys, that is all from me. And if you are enjoying the content, please hit that like button. I'm so close to my first big milestone in 100 subscribers. And it's all thanks to you guys. So all the support I'm getting for you is really appreciated. And I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much. And hopefully I can get to that milestone very, very soon. But for now, take care of yourselves, guys. And I will catch you in the next one.